Dr. Chakuta, good morning. Thank you very much for coming through.
Morning, Dan.
Your concern as Amnesty International, always, as we know, is human rights, because you're the watchdog for human rights globally. There must be specific instances in Mozambique, in Madagascar and Mauritius that really have made you to ask the Pope, the Pontiff, when he's around these countries, to put on the table. Why have you asked him particularly to raise these human rights issues?
Well, then, I think it's no secret that Pope Francis is a respected world leader. And we have seen from some of his statements in the past that you could perhaps characterize him as an activist pope. So we are hoping that as he visits these countries, he doesn't shy away from the key issues and human rights issues that are in this country.
Okay, can we just take them one by one? In Mozambique, what would be the concerns there? We've just had a peace accord being signed with Renamo. Next month, October, there's general elections happening in Mozambique. What's concerning you there?
Well, in Mozambique, as Amnesty International, over the last 5 years, we've documented a wide and deep assault on fundamental freedoms. Freedoms of association, freedoms of the media, freedom of expression have all faced severe assault from the authorities. As you know, in the north of the country, there's been an insurgence, and I think since October 2017, we've seen 200 people killed in that region in Cabo Delgado. And up to today, there has been no accountability, and there is widespread...
And there was a journalist who was arrested and kept in jail for 4 months without any charges.
Certainly. Ahmad Abubakar was arrested on the 5th of January and kept in prison, pre-trial detention. No access to his family, no access to health care until he was provisionally released on the 23rd of April. I think it's important to state that he is still facing charges as we speak today.
Okay, now that's the Mozambique connection. Madagascar?
Madagascar, again, a country with widespread poverty. And some key human rights violations across the country, exemplified by two cases that we have documented, particularly the crisis of pre-trial detention in that country, where people are kept, in prison before they are brought to trial for months sometimes.
There have been allegations that also the Malagasy government is arbitrarily detaining people.
Certainly. So people are arrested with no warrants, and there is no proper process that is followed.
Okay. Any concerns with Mauritius?
Well, Mauritius, I think this is one of the countries where generally the situation looks positive. But as we know, in a number of countries on the continent, including countries that are doing well economically, the people and the citizens tend to face human rights violations of different forms.
Yeah. Have you had a response from the Vatican City or from the Pontiff's office to your call for him on behalf of Amnesty International and people who are suffering from human rights violations, that he will raise some of these issues? Because as you said earlier, he's known as an activist pope. Elsewhere where he's gone in the world, he's always managed somehow to bring up the key issues of the day.
Well, not specifically to our call, but we have taken note of the theme of this visit, which is to bring hope, peace and reconciliation. So that for us sends a positive note. And I think what we have done is to then highlight specific issues that we are hoping that the Pope will bring up with the authorities in the different countries.
Okay, before you go, on a general note, in Southern Africa currently, Dr. Chakuta, from an Amnesty International perspective, is the situation of human rights violation worsening? You know, we're just in the middle of xenophobic attacks in the country in South Africa today. The government is saying it's not xenophobic. Yes, there's criminal elements, but currently things are very heavy. There's a heavy cloud hanging over South Africa, and we see the violence also spreading in other parts of the continent in retaliation to what we're experiencing here currently.
Certainly. In Southern Africa, I would characterize our human rights situation currently as challenged. Because of a number of reasons. We all know of the triple burden, poverty, inequality, unemployment. We've got shrinking civic space across the region, not only in Mozambique, but in Zambia, in Zimbabwe. Violence and discrimination are endemic in this region, and all of that is conspiring to cause an erosion of economic and social rights, but also civil and political rights. So the situation is not rosy at all in Southern Africa at this moment.
Thank you very much. It's not a good picture we can see. That's the Deputy Regional Director for Southern Africa of Amnesty International, Dr. Tigere Chaguta.